The following segment is sponsored by Eastern Title and Settlement and the Mortgage Link. The real estate top performers want to help you get started toward building your portfolio. So this morning, I am joined by Sue Chong, who is the associate broker of eXp Realty. Min Hugh is back with Eastern Title and Settlement, but first we're going to start with our senior loan officer, Carrie Reel of the Mortgage Link, who has our deal of the day. Good morning, Carrie.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, in the spirit of helping out our first-time home buyers and kicking off that generational wealth, we want to focus on a home-ready, 3% down, 30-year fixed-rate purchase with a very low rate at 5.5% with 2 points, and APR at 5.922. That's focused on a loan amount around 485, but we can vary with that, and that's 760 score. So give us a call. We want to talk a little about generational wealth here, and the best way that we found to do that is to jump into your first home, minimum down payment, and just build from there.
When you're talking to a first-time home buyer, all that you just said, you'll break that down for them if they come?
We will break that down. A lot of
confusing.
first-time home buyers are not focused on, far in the future. So we want to bring into, the forefront of their minds that, purchasing is not just your first time. It's also an opportunity to build some generational wealth down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you can do this by purchasing homes. I've not really heard this before, the generational wealth being built through home buying.
Well, I got to tell you, I've been in the business 27 years, and the easiest way to make money and pass down the wealth down the generation is to buy that first home. I know it's nerve-wracking, and a lot of youngsters, they are thinking, okay, I don't know where I'm going to be, where my career will take off, but you do want to go ahead and jump in as soon as you can. And over the years, the successful clients that I have building wealth is buying the first home and holding it and moving up to the bigger home and just keep building the equity with the people paying your mortgage. The renters will pay your mortgage.
So you're going to rent it out, right?
Yes.
To still be making money on that first property.
Of course.
Okay. Is it a good time for people to buy their first home right now? Especially if you had all the unknowns you just mentioned. I don't know if I'm going to be staying here. It could just be a couple years.
Well, what do you think about using other people's money to build your wealth instead of your own money? So when you're paying rent as a renter, you're actually building equity for that investor. So you want to be having the investor mindset, and you always invest and wait. You don't wait and invest. That never works, right?
Interesting.
So
because then
that's
it'll be
the mentality.
accumulating while you own it.
Exactly.
Right? And the other way, you wouldn't be getting any sort of benefit from it.
Right. You need to use other people's money to build your wealth.
Interesting.
That's the focus.
Min, do you see this through a lot of your closings that you have?
He's
people
a
who are-
perfect
Really?
example.
Oh, you're okay, good. Tell me
I bought
more,
my
Min.
first house when I was 25, and that was right before the crash in 2007. So, but I held on to that property. When I moved up to a bigger house, I held on to that property. I rented it out for about 16 years. So I just sold that property last year, still at the peak, and it was paid off already by the time I was selling it. So
wow, so all profit.
So I still took the money and bought another investment property because I see the value. Because you have to use that, leverage that to build wealth. And then especially when someone else is paying for your mortgage, even if you have to supplement a couple $100 a month, in 15 years you're going to have a paid off house if you invest correctly.
Wow. So you didn't necessarily do, one of your tips was to live in this residence for a couple of years, then when you move on to your next primary residence.
Yeah, that was my primary.
Oh, it was at first?
Yeah, that was my first house with my wife. We weren't married at the time, but, and then when we moved up, we rented it out to tenants for 16 years.
Wow, for 16 years. And this is a great way to build that generational wealth.
Yeah, a couple of my clients that, just were barely making money to pay rent, but they had VA status. So they got into the house with just like 2 months worth of payment. And rather than renting, they bought their first home and they just bit the bullet. And then later on, they kept the house for like 5-10 years. And then there was enough equity and enough appreciation of income, and they bought the subsequent property. And then now they own several properties and they're good.
Wow.
They're good.
Wow. Okay, and Carrie, so there's the deal of the day, right? For people who are listening, I'm going to go buy this first time home.
For those of us that don't have all of this this money, you know,
Right.
we have the
Who needs some
ability to
help?
finance it. Use your first-time home buyer programs to get your first home.
Okay.
When you move out of that property, purchase your next primary residence, get the best interest rates that are available for a primary residence, retain the other property, rent it out, cover the mortgage. The whole time you're building equity, you're seeing appreciation, you're building that wealth. And you can continue to rinse and repeat that process until later on down the road. You've got a big
Yeah.
portfolio. If you want to
Exactly.
sell it, you can do a stock or exchange. You can avoid capital gains. You can purchase commercial properties. There's so much to do. So it's a great lesson. We would love to tell people about and share this opportunity. It's never too early or too late to start. I mean, I just had a first-time home buyer that was 62. She was so excited.
Jeez, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, never
Yeah.
too late. You hear it here.
Too late.
And for that person, we have a deal of the day, right?
We
Who
have the
is
deal
buying
of the
their
day.
first home. On your screen right now, you call to take advantage of this amazing offer. That number is 833-MTG-LINK, or you can visit the mtglink.com. Also, be sure to follow the Real Estate Top Performers on YouTube to get more advice on buying and selling a home.